Tariffs are one of the most significant tools a government can use to influence trade policies, protect domestic industries, and balance trade deficits. When former President Donald Trump announced his series of tariff increases in 2025, it created a ripple effect across global markets and had potential implications for inflation in the U.S. The impact of tariffs on inflation is complex, as it involves both direct and indirect effects on various sectors of the economy. This video explores the top 10 ways that Trump's tariffs could influence U.S. inflation. 1. Higher import prices. One of the most direct effects of Trump's tariffs is an increase in the price of imported goods. Tariffs make foreign products more expensive for U.S. consumers and businesses. For instance, if tariffs are imposed on imported steel or electronics, companies that rely on these materials will face higher costs, which they will likely pass on to consumers. As the cost of imported goods rises, the overall price level of goods and services in the economy will increase, contributing to inflation. 2. Increased production costs. Many industries in the U.S., including manufacturing, automotive, and retail, rely on imported raw materials and components. With the implementation of tariffs, businesses that rely on foreign goods may experience higher production costs. These increased costs, whether for components or materials, often lead businesses to raise their prices in response. As these price hikes accumulate across various sectors, it can push the general inflation rate higher. 3. Consumer goods price increase. Tariffs imposed on consumer goods like clothing, electronics, and household appliances could significantly raise prices for U.S. consumers. These goods often come from countries like China, Mexico, or other low-cost producers. As businesses pass on the higher tariffs to consumers, families will face higher costs for everyday items. This increase in consumer goods prices directly contributes to inflation, reducing purchasing power and making it more expensive to live. 4. Shift toward domestic production. Trump's tariffs are designed to encourage U.S. businesses to shift production back to the U.S. as a way of avoiding high import costs. While this may be beneficial in creating more jobs and boosting domestic manufacturing, it could also lead to higher prices in the short term. Producing goods locally is often more expensive than importing them, which could drive up prices. If U.S. businesses begin to manufacture goods domestically, the cost of production could rise due to factors like higher labor costs and lower economies of scale, further pushing inflation. 5. Supply chain disruptions. Tariffs could disrupt global supply chains, particularly for industries that rely on international suppliers for various components and materials. With higher tariffs on imports, businesses may find it more difficult or costly to secure the raw materials or products they need. Supply shortages can drive prices up, especially if businesses are unable to find affordable domestic alternatives. This shortage-driven price increase could further contribute to inflation across multiple sectors. 6. Retaliation and reciprocal tariffs. Trump's tariff policies may provoke retaliatory actions from trading partners, leading to reciprocal tariffs on U.S. exports. This can affect U.S. manufacturers and agricultural producers who rely on international markets for their goods. When U.S. exporters face higher tariffs in foreign markets, they may adjust their prices or reduce output, which could lead to supply shortages. These disruptions can ripple through the economy, creating inflationary pressures as businesses cope with both higher input costs and restricted markets. 7. Increased transportation costs. Tariffs can also impact transportation costs, especially for industries reliant on global shipping. As tariffs increase the cost of imports, shipping companies may raise their prices to cover these additional costs. Higher transportation costs can lead to increased prices for goods across the economy. This effect is especially noticeable in sectors such as food, retail, and electronics, where transportation and logistics are crucial to delivering goods efficiently and at affordable prices. 8. Wage pressure in certain sectors. While tariffs aim to protect domestic industries, some sectors, such as manufacturing, could experience a surge in demand due to less competition from foreign goods. However, the demand for skilled workers in these industries may outstrip supply, leading to higher wages. While higher wages are generally positive for workers, they could drive up production costs for businesses, which could then raise their prices, contributing to inflation. The wage pressure might be more pronounced in industries that see a major shift in production due to tariff policies. 9. Currency depreciation. The imposition of tariffs can sometimes lead to a depreciation of the US dollar as investors react to the uncertainty and potential economic fallout from trade wars. A weaker dollar can increase the cost of imports, as foreign goods become more expensive in terms of US dollars. This currency depreciation can further contribute to inflation by increasing the price of imported goods and commodities like oil, which are traded globally in US dollars. 10. Reduced global competition. With higher tariffs in place, U.S. businesses may face less competition from foreign markets. While this might benefit certain domestic industries, it could have the unintended consequence of allowing domestic businesses to raise prices without the pressure of international competition. With fewer affordable alternatives from abroad, businesses may increase prices for U.S. consumers. This reduction in competition, while providing short-term protection for domestic industries, can lead to inflation as consumers are forced to pay more for domestic products. Trump's 2025 tariff announcements have the potential to significantly influence U.S. inflation. While tariffs may serve as a tool for protecting U.S. industries and reducing trade imbalances, they also carry the risk of increasing costs for businesses and consumers alike. From higher import prices and increased production costs to potential disruptions in global supply chains, the inflationary effects of these tariffs are multifaceted and complex. In the long term, the impact on U.S. inflation will depend on how businesses and consumers adapt to these changes, as well as the global responses to the tariff policies. Policymakers will need to carefully consider these effects and balance the potential benefits of tariff protection with the risks of higher inflation and decreased purchasing power for American households.